In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.
Welcome back to the show, third and final segment of the show. It's been my honor to be with you here on the Tech Zone. Today, if you missed our first two segments, you can always catch up and check it out. ABC News Radio, KMED here in Southern California. You can always check us out on YouTube, live stream, iHeartRadio, you name it. Just Google Tech Zone, Paul Amadeus Lane, and you'll see more. Yes, you will. And I appreciate all your support. We know the natural disaster of hurricanes, fires, and other things out there that we have seen over the years. Here just recently, here too, in our thoughts and prayers go with those who are affected by Hurricane Florence. Are we preparing for a natural disaster of that sort? There's a technology out there that can help us prepare for natural disasters, for caregiving, for major life events. And we can keep all that information at our fingertip. So in case there is an emergency, we, our families, and close friends can have access to things in case of an emergency. And my next guest is going to talk about what their company is doing that makes this a reality. Well, joining me right now is a great friend of mine. She is so bright, intelligent, and she's going to talk about financial technology. She is the founder and co-founder, and advisor of LifeSite. Crystal Lee, how are you doing, my friend?
I am great. Thanks you so much for having me on Tech Zone.
I am honored to have you on. Crystal and I have done a lot of Get Vocals together. I'll talk about that on the show too. But today it's all about her and it's all about LifeSite. So, Crystal, let's talk about financial technologies and talk about what made you guys want to create LifeSite and what was kind of the vision behind it.
So the tagline that we like to use for the company is helping people connect their heads to their hearts. And what we mean by that is the people we care about, they all have very, very important information that if something were to happen to you, you would need. And this could be anything from your medical records to, medical directives, as well as online passwords. And this type of information, we believe, should live somewhere secure, but also accessible. And so what we've created is LifeSite, which is an online safety deposit box. And it harnesses blockchain technology to be able to securely store your information. And the reason why it's financial technology is we use financial advisors to help share the software with their clients. So our distribution strategy is to go through businesses, to go through financial advisors and wealth managers to essentially help arm their clients with a tool that they're going to be able to use to, they being the client, that they're going to be able to use throughout their lives. So we have a mobile app, we've got an Alexa skill, and of course there's a web-based application as well.
And Chris, I'm glad you brought that up because we know that natural disasters and everything's, strike daily, not only here in the United States, but even around the world that it seems. And there's a lot of sensitive documents that they always tell us to make sure that's in a secure place so that if there is an emergency, we can scoop and run, scoop and go. Mm-hmm. This looks like this can kind of maybe do this for us, put it in a secure place even before a disaster strikes. It could be part of preparedness. What do you say?
Paul, gosh, you must interview people for a living because that is such a great question. I could not have designed that question better myself. You alley-ooped me, my friend.
Thank you. You're making me blush. That's why the camera's off me right now.
Oh, really? Well, I'd like to see you blush. I'm just kidding. But yes, essentially, people don't like necessarily thinking about preparing for the worst case scenario. That's natural human behavior. No matter how many PSAs are sent out about having, in California, an earthquake preparedness kit. or in having all of your documents in the right place, just in case you need to do that scoop and run. A lot of people don't do that. And so our approach is to make it super easy so that you have a lower barrier to checking those boxes. And at the end of the day, our main sort of end customer is a life decision maker and a family, like a family, what we like to call the sandwich generation, a family leader. This could be someone who has the responsibility of taking care of their parents, but also has children. And this person could be anywhere between, late 20s to 40 years old. And that person is tasked with being the information custodian for several people. And our whole vision is, let's use technology to make it easy for you to put that information somewhere so that in the event that something happens, and as you know, life happens, it's not necessarily if something bad might happen, it's sort of when, not to be too fatalistic, but our whole goal is to encourage people to put their sensitive information somewhere that's going to be secure, but also redundant and somewhere accessible. So no matter what happens, your information records are available. Your emergency medical records are available.
I love it, because emergency records, that's something that we need in case of an emergency. It's kind of like with me, like when I got injured over 25 years ago, I had no idea I was going to be in a car accident. It'd have been nice to have this type of technology back then 25 years ago, because let's say if you get into a catastrophic accident or something, your records could be easily accessed by, like you said, the family member who can send it to the doctor, or the doctor can access it himself, and it can really just help out a lot of things.
Yep. And the thing is sometimes having that conversation with your next of kin can be kind of uncomfortable. I know that my parents haven't talked about their end of life wishes, but LifeSite is an easy way for them to put it somewhere and then give me conditional access so that in the event of anything happening, I know where all of the information is, which will allow me to better expedite any decisions that need to be made, especially if, I'm going through sort of an emotionally traumatic time. You want kind of the technical information somewhere that's going to be secure, and that I could potentially share with lawyers or share with advisors or share with stakeholders, beneficiaries, insurance agents, right? Folks who maybe are following up on an insurance claim. So long story short, there are areas of people's lives that aren't particularly sexy, but need to be done properly, because there are certain things that everyone's inevitably going to have to face.
That is so true. And what I like to do is always delve into what made you want to create something like this. As a co-founder, was it something personally that happened, or something that you experienced and you're like, we need a technology like this to really help out in this sphere? Take us through that journey, please.
When I was about in 5th grade, my grandfather passed away. And my father is the middle sibling of 5. And my father was made the executor of my grandfather's estate. And my grandfather had a lot of paperwork. And my poor parents had to do a lot of forensic accounting to account for all of the documents to help eventually sell off and liquidate his assets so that all of my aunts and uncles could, have their fair share. It was a really, really arduous process. And seeing how difficult it was for my parents, it just always left an impression on me. Fast forward years later, I ended up interning at a number of tech companies. Software is hot in Silicon Valley. I interned at Dropbox. I worked at Google. And it just so happened that I had a career mentor named Chris Wong, who had an opportunity to take this vault that was built by a life insurance company and roll it out into a standalone company. And Chris was willing to bring me on as a team member. And so he and I partnered with an early founding team to essentially try to solve this problem. So we saw the opportunity as being enormous, because everybody has sensitive information. Everybody has family and people they care about. And everyone at some point in their lives, needs to be thinking about having some sort of safety deposit box. And so we thought, well, the technology is there. Why not build the solution ourselves and partner with, companies, and partner with family offices and, other businesses that also see the value. And so we entered ourselves into a number of different startup competitions. And with Chris's experience, his investors, our investors, and his contacts, we were able to really fundraise a $5 million Series A round.
Wow. That's pretty cool, because we have some ones who are listening and viewing, and they're looking for VCs and ACs out there to really help them out and to get the startup capital, because it takes money to definitely be able to do it. So venture capitalists and angel investors out there, it's I'm glad you're sharing that story, and talk about, just because in every journey, sometimes we hit a wall. And we're like, wow, are we doing this? Should we be doing this? The challenges are so great that we're just going to maybe throw up our hands and we're done. That never happened to you, because I know you're a pretty positive person. So were there any challenges along the way?
There are always going to be challenges. But, something I've learned from you, Paul, is challenges make you better. And it doesn't necessarily matter what life may have thrown at you. It's how you react to that. And I'd say the same thing with LifeSite. We've been blessed because we have a great team. We've got great investors who've opened a lot of doors for us. But I think our guiding light, our Polaris here, is really understanding that we can help solve this problem for a lot of families. We can help people really avoid a lot of heartache, a lot of chaos, a lot of stress, and a lot of pain by preemptively giving them a solution that will help them avoid the mad scramble. So, we still have a lot of work ahead of us, but the future is very bright. And even though I'm not involved with the company on a day-to-day basis anymore, I'm still so honored to be an advisor. And I'm so, grateful and very excited about the future of the company, because everyone needs LifeSite.
I love it. Now talk about how, this solution was, you thought about family members and things like that, but now you guys have parlayed that even to businesses too. Talk about where businesses can use this type of innovation and this solution, because we know how families can, but what about businesses? So talk about that.
Definitely. B2C is one thing, business to consumer, and B2B really helps us with scaling. Because if you can sort of reach a company, you can acquire a bunch of consumers in one fell swoop. And the way that we work with businesses is we've been able to provide LifeSite as an employee benefit. So by going to HR and by communicating to them the value proposition, they usually get it, and they'll provide maybe a discount code, or maybe they'll list us in their holiday guide. And by going through HR, it really helps employees of these companies who oftentimes are in that sandwich generation. These are oftentimes parents with children who are soon to be elevated into that caretaker role for their parents. A lot of them already have some version of information management for this stuff. LifeSite just allows them to put it online in a place where it's secure, and where as their children grow up, they're able to share conditionally. So for instance, I might want to share my family's Netflix password with my teenage sons, but I'm going to share my legal documents with my lawyer. And it can be the same system, but you turn on and off permissions depending on the person that you want to give access to. So that's an example of how we work through businesses.
I love it. So we have the idea, we have all this vision. Now, how did you marry the technology to make this a reality with the apps, with Alexa and everything? I bet you your chief technology officer kind of had some of those Scotty moments from the Enterprise, like, Captain, it can't be done, but they got it done. Talk about just getting all that together to what we have today, where we have this solution, this innovation that we can get on our smartphones, access to computers. Talk about that if you can, please.
Yeah, I want to give a lot of credit to these open platforms that have made it so easy for engineers to build applications on top of them. So for instance, Alexa, hats off to Amazon for opening up their code base. Not actually opening up their code base, but for opening up the Alexa skill ecosystem so that people can build applications within that. So that further enriches the content and the ecosystem for those who end up buying, the Alexa device or the Echo Dot. The one thing I would say is LifeSite's start really came from a life insurance company that had already overbuilt a vault. So we were lucky in the sense that when Chris Wong, the CEO, was invited to lead this project, there was already the bones of something that could really be successful. There were already legs on this system. And so he saw the potential in that. And together we teamed up with, our rockstar engineering team to essentially build out a system that would be scalable. And so we've gone through a number of different changes to be able to set us up for the long haul and to equip us with the right type of back-end infrastructure. Because, as you know, things are constantly changing, and blockchain is a really hot topic right now. So LifeSite has some of the best engineers working on setting LifeSite up for the next decade.
That's nice. All those data silos and everything just working and doing the thing and making it do what it do. Now, I know you can't divulge any confidential information about clients and things like that, but what has been some of the feedback of ones who have tried the platform and they might have shared their experience with you? You have any stories to tell about that?
Definitely. I think that some of our most excited customers are those who are using LifeSite through their financial advisor, because they already trust their advisor, and the advisor is looking for technology to help enrich that client and advisor relationship. And as you know, things are changing so quickly, and these advisors are looking for technology that's going to help enhance their service, especially as their clients' children start to grow up and eventually come into the fold. So what's in it for the advisor is that the advisor can essentially sell multi-generationally. By using LifeSite, remember what I said about the permissions and being able to give conditional access? Absolutely. That's something that advisors have taught their clients to do. So it further allows the advisor to become a deeper partner within the family unit. We, of course, have had issues where in the event of a tragedy, immediately LifeSite becomes, a star use case for where to go if you need to look up a medical directive, or if you need a copy of someone's estate plan. So that's kind of where LifeSite shines, is when disaster strikes, you're going to need certain types of information, and no one has all the information up here. LifeSite is like the perfect, companion app for you.
I love it. When disaster strikes, LifeSite is the light. Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, do we need to pay you royalties for that? Maybe I'll put that on the refrigerator.
I work for food, so you take me out for a couple of drinks, some foods, and we all good. You know what I mean?
All right.
But before we let the viewer and the listener know how they can find out more information about LifeSite, anything else you'd like to articulate out there to them that we didn't cover yet?
You can reach us at www.lifesite.co. It would be worth mentioning that if you just Google the term LifeSite, there is another company that does, it's called LifeSite News, and we are not affiliated. It's a very conservative media outlet, and LifeSite.co as an entity is completely separate. So if you're interested, make sure to enter the URL correctly. It's LifeSite.co. And you can also Google LifeSite Vault. There is a free version. And I would encourage all of you who are tuning in, if you're interested, check us out.
Absolutely. And we'll make sure we show that beautiful website again so that everyone could definitely check it out and see what it's all about. And Crystal, I'm so excited that our paths have crossed, because living up there in the Silicon Valley and just in that tech hub and finding out something like this exists, it's blowing my mind. When you and I had talked about it before, I was like, I've never heard anything like that. And I'm so glad that it's out there, especially the technology is there. We can use it, and it can definitely help out our families and our loved ones and make sure everything is on the right track. And we really appreciate, you and LifeSite and what you guys are doing. And please come back and join us again and talk about any things, upgrades or anything. Come back and check us out, because the guys in the studio are telling me you make me look better. So you gotta come back.
Well, it's mutual. You make me look like I need a little bit of a tan. That's the only thing. But you have great light on your face, though. So.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
in my kitchen.
Well, we're coordinating. We're collaborating, like the website says, right? Collaborate, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. Well, great talking to you, my friend, and look forward to catching up soon.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Once again, a huge shout out to Crystal Lee. Enjoy talking to Crystal. She is my brother, my sister in arms when it comes to Get Vocal. She and I are both broadcasters on the Get Vocal format. So make sure you check us out on there too. Getvocal.com. That's GETVOKL.com. But food for thought when it comes to life events, disasters. I tell you, a LifeSite is something you should really look into. Yes, we should. All right. In the show, don't forget next week we are chasing an interview with a California tech company and ask them how are the new administration tariffs are affecting them and their business. So don't forget that's coming up next week. I'm Paul Amadeus Lane. Take care, folks. Love you guys.
In this world of technology, things are ever changing, rearranging. You need someone to help you out. I know someone who can. Come and take a journey with me as we go through the land of technology. You'll never be alone. You'll be with Paul Amadeus Lane in the tech zone.